This is the Commonwealth, where we feature leaders of disruptive change. We released our first episode a year ago today with Lizz Whitacre, founder and CEO of Pawlytics. A lot has changed in the past year, so we are here with Liz to see how her last year has gone. So Liz, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to be back.
Yes, yeah, you're one of the few guests who has made 2 appearances. So
honored. I'm honored.
Yes. All right, so to give people a breakdown of what Pawlytics does, who maybe didn't check out that first episode, you guys create software for animal rescues. Right?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah, that's what we do today. So we build software that helps animal shelters and animal rescues become more efficient, but we're actually going to be utilizing that data moving forward to create electronic health records for pets. So that can help out vet clinics, boarding kennels, grooming facilities, make sure that they're giving the best quality of care to their patients.
Okay, so 2020 has been a turbulent year for everyone.
Yeah.
So how has the animal shelter and animal rescue world changed with COVID? And on social media, it seemed like a bunch of people were adopting animals.
Oh, yeah.
Which I know, like, people adopting animals because it's trendy isn't always a good thing.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely been chaotic. So initially, and it's funny because you can just see the numbers across the charts, that in March when coronavirus started, adoptions just stopped. It was a full-on halt, but fostering jumped up by 90%. And so we saw the same level of engagement across the board. It increased because so many groups had to go digital entirely. So all the brick and mortar shelters had to stop allowing people to come into the facilities, which means that they had to put all of their applications online. And so we saw this huge bloom in engagement right at the beginning of coronavirus, although adoptions had dropped.
For fosters, so people taking an animal in temporarily?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So fostering is just taking them into your home, taking care of them until they can find a permanent place to go.
Yeah, which seems like a good thing.
Yes, it's an amazing thing because I think a lot of people didn't know what fostering was prior to coronavirus. And then, all these shelters were needing to get animals out of their facilities because they weren't going to have as much staff to take care of them. They couldn't have as much staff in the building, and they just didn't know what was going to happen. And so the goal was to get them out of the shelters. And so all these pleas for help resulted in this boom in fostering. So that's amazing.
Yes, yeah. Do you think that boom in fostering is going to continue to stay around post-pandemic?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I do, because usually once you get people into something, that's when they continue to maintain that customer status of being a foster, essentially. And so what we're seeing as well with the animal shelters is that they've created new policies and procedures because of coronavirus. And what they're finding is that these policies that they've set up that keep people out of the shelter actually gives people a better customer experience when they go in to adopt, because it's by appointment only. They get that really attentive one-on-one care to make sure that they're making that best placement while you are in the shelter, instead of just coming in, walking around. Maybe someone will talk to you, maybe not. And so it's creating better experiences, and they're actually making better, more quality placements. So we've seen returns go down during coronavirus as well.
Okay, wow, interesting. I guess I'm surprised with adoptions like being what they are, that returns have also gone down. So I guess that seems to be a positive trend from the outside looking in.
Totally a good thing. I think it's just making it a little bit harder for people to come in and get a pet, and so they're having to do a little bit more research beforehand because they're making these appointments and they're having one-on-one meetings with staff at the shelter, and so they're coming in and getting a little bit more education as well at that time of adoption, and so that's what's contributing to the reduction in returns for those animals.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
And then 2020 with the pandemic caused a bunch of organizations and businesses to go digital very quickly.
Yes.
Have you seen the same with shelters? And I would guess Pawlytics is like uniquely positioned to help them do that.
Yes. Yeah. So great time to be a tech company at the very least of it all. Yes. Animal shelters all very quickly overnight had to go digital. Quite literally within that first week of coronavirus, we were just flooded with requests to take those paper applications that they were using in the facilities and make them digital so that they could have those appointments happening online now. So yes, we saw a huge boom in organizations that previously just didn't have the time, now having the time because they needed to make the time. And then we're also seeing on the other end of that, organizations that were primarily volunteer only also making more time to get into a more digital environment for their record keeping, because now they're working from home, they're not leaving their house to go to a day job, and so they're kind of doing this middleman during the day where they're working on animal rescue stuff, also working on their job, because it seems like hours have become more fluid during coronavirus.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And I also know I saw your LinkedIn post that Pawlytics is now up to full-time employees as of like this week.
Yes. We are a team of 4 officially full-time. We've got a couple of contractors still with us that have been around since the beginning, but yeah, we've gone from a team of 1 full-time to 4 in the last year. So yeah, very exciting stuff.
Yeah, what is it like now having 3 other people working on it full-time alongside yourself?
It's awesome. Quite literally, it, of course, gives us more bandwidth to get more work done. Mm-hmm. We are able to move faster on product development. We're able to keep customers happier, the ones that have been with us. We're able to capture more customers as well with having more of this bandwidth. So now instead of me doing sales and marketing, business development, managing developers, and wearing all those hats, I've now gotten to focus more on my silo, which is fundraising and business development and product management. And I have someone managing marketing and sales entirely, and now 2 new developers to own the code. And so it's amazing, and we're just cruising.
Okay. So you mentioned you had some contractors already. Will you look to build, how do you approach your in-house software team?
Yeah. So we were in a phase over the last couple of years where we were pretty exclusively using contractors. Mm-hmm. And that was a great way to be lean and scrappy and focus in on a few features to get them out the door and really test to see what the market was going to do with those features and how we'd set things up. And so now that we've really proven out that concept, we've reached well over 100 customers now in the last year. We've definitely found that product market fit. And so that's why we felt confident bringing someone in-house to now own and manage that code, make things a little bit more streamlined within the code as well, because it has gone through so many other contractors' hands. Now it's time to clean things up and then create this great foundation so now we can scale.
Okay, makes sense. So Pawlytics is also raising money through crowdfunding.
Yes.
Currently. Can you just speak more about that campaign?
Yeah.
What a crowdfunding raise looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. So it was very new to me when I first heard of it as well. And so we're using a platform called Wefunder, and it is equity crowdfunding. So unlike GoFundMe, where you're putting money into the pot as a donation, with Wefunder and equity crowdfunding, you're actually an investor. You are getting a part of the company. And so it is a true fundraise. And so we actually did have to file a Regulation C, which means that it's a public fundraise. And that means that anyone can put money into it. Okay. And so the bare minimum is, I think, $100 just on this specific platform. And so we're trying to involve more people in our journey, both from our customers to other investors that maybe couldn't write as large of check sizes as we were interested in on the VC side of things. Mm-hmm. And so we wanted to create a place for people to join us in this journey of doing good with your money and being really successful at the same time.
Yeah, and how has it gone?
It's gone really well. People have been very supportive. We're finding that people are very excited about the mission if they have not worked in the space previously. Really, the idea of saving animals in shelters really draws people to that. On the other side of things, we're getting a lot of endorsing, I suppose is the right word, from people that are working within the space, like vet clinics and boarders and groomers and people in the pet pharmaceutical space. And so that's been kind of an unexpected good side effect to see that other people in the industry are kind of validating this electronic health record idea through putting their money into the Wefunder.
Yes, yeah. And what's the average donation? Is it like the $100 mark
It probably leans closer to the 100, but it's probably sitting at around $500 mark.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
so not terrible. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, which is a solid chunk of change.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, compared to a GoFundMe.
Right.
Or what have you.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So how does the equity exchange work?
So for this round specifically, and it's different for every company that's on that platform.
Okay.
So for our company specifically, and for this raise specifically, we are using a convertible note, and so through Wefunder, all the people that are putting money into this round are going to go onto the cap table under the main lead investor's name. And so he's going to be the advocate for the investors through Wefunder on our cap table. Okay. And so then otherwise, it acts just like a normal investment where they actually get their shares if we exit or when we go and raise more money as well. And so it'll convert in at the next round if it's a priced round or in 2 years of a maturity date, which is pretty standard for any convertible note.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. And so the note then must change based on how much they put in. Is that?
No, well, yes and no. So it's just how much of a percentage they're going to get then. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. And so then what's the total goal you're hoping to raise on on the Wefunder platform, yes.
Yeah, so our goal there is $250,000. So we've
Okay.
already closed in $250,000 of venture checks. And so we're trying to fill the other round with making it a crowdfund and letting more people in on this kind of opportunity.
Okay, yeah, so you have $250,000 on venture. All right, that also seems impressive.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Is that local Midwest venture or?
So half of it is from Florida, actually.
Okay.
So that was really exciting to partner with an organization out in Florida. There's tons of animal shelters out there, so we definitely want to establish ourselves in that region.
Nice.
And then the other half of it is local. It's from Invest Nebraska. So we're really excited to have them on board because they have always been a great partner to work with.
We're on the $250,000 for the crowdfunding. How close are you to that goal, and what's the timeline do you expect to get there?
So we have a couple months left, and so we're just hustling really hard and getting newsletters out there and doing different podcasts like this one, and sending out a lot of different press releases to other nationwide news organizations as well. And so we're sitting at, I think, just under 20,000 right now. So that's going to be that next big milestone, and we're just plugging away at it. So I think it can be done.
I'm sure it's difficult, raising from crowdfunding because it's kind of an untraditional way to do it. Do you have a model or I guess an inspiration of a company that has done it that you're this is the path that they went?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a company actually based in Minnesota, which for me is special because I'm from Minnesota, and they actually are trying to cure cancer in dogs. So it was very similar in a lot of ways, that they were a Midwest company focusing in the animal health space. So we basically stalked everything that they did on their Wefunder platform. I was lucky enough to talk to their founder. His name's Wes. He's super nice and amazing. The company's called Leah Labs. And they crushed it on Wefunder. I mean, absolutely crushed it. They're an amazing company. We're actually going to be in a beta showcase with them for Minnesota Startup Week coming up here, so we're excited. But I talked to Wes, and we've really taken all of his advice and he's given me to heart and trying to match what they did with their campaign so that we can see that same level of success.
Is cancer different in dogs than humans?
I think so. It's not an area I can speak to too much, but definitely, as far as I'm aware, yes, it is different.
Yes, all right. Yeah, because my assumption would be once you cure cancer in dogs, cure cancer for everything.
Yeah, in theory, you're chugging along at that point.
Interesting that they're going at it through the Wefunder platform.
Yeah.
So what has been the biggest challenge in the past year since you last sat down with us?
Oh my gosh, it is a challenge to keep up with our growth. And that sounds like a silly problem to have, but truly, we are a very lean company and a lean team. And so we're doing a lot with a little at all times. And that includes our human capital as well. Like I said, it was just me basically full time on it in the beginning and even when we were talking a year ago. And now it's, myself and 3 other people full time. And so that's allowed us to keep up with the growth a little bit better. But then, you almost open up more problems for yourself when you solve these other problems. And so it's just put more on our plate in a really good way because we have so much demand for the product and we have so many customers coming in that need a little bit of one-on-one attention to get them set up in the accounts. And so it's just trying to keep up with our own growth and sales and marketing and staying on top of that bandwidth.
Okay. Well, that is a good problem to have.
Yes.
Yeah. Where do you think you're going to be a year from now?
Oh, goodness. A year from now. So a year from now, we will absolutely have a product ready for animal shelters and animal control facilities.
So you're currently in the beta phase still?
Yeah. Yes. Well, so it's kind of like a new product that we're building. I mean, we're layering on top of our current product, but the customer set is going to be very different. And so we feel that we've really created what these foster-based organizations need. And these are the groups that don't have that brick and mortar facility. They're totally distributed teams. And we really feel that we have that product market fit in that space. And so now we're over the next year, and what this fundraise is going to allow us to do is build out the animal control and animal shelter feature set needs that they have. And it's just substantially larger. These are more like enterprise level organizations. A lot of them are managing anywhere from 30,000 to 60,000 animals a year. And that's a lot to keep up with. Yes. And so the feature sets are just substantially larger. So that's what the next year of building out is going to be, and working on sales and getting beta and early adopters in as well.
And is that what the raise in financing was for?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Basically allow us to speed up growth on that side of things and get into shelters and animal control groups.
Okay. And when is the launch date on that product?
So we don't have a date yet. I never like to put dates on anything technology related, but we're planning out for a 9-month build starting in October.
Okay.
So at that point in time, we're hoping to have at least the bare bones features that will get us into some of these different shelters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to see how like the Pawlytics story continues to grow.
Yeah,
and thank you. Thanks again for taking the time to sit down with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yes, and before the credits roll, we have updated our website so that if you are watching and have someone that you want to recommend for us to interview, go to our website at thecommonwealthmedia.com and shoot me an email. The Commonwealth is edited by Kyle Kua, directed by Alec McChesney, and produced in partnership with KZUM Radio. Special thanks to Emmy Hernandez and Isabel Cheeseman for creative guidance. That is it for today's episode. Thanks for being a member of the Commonwealth. If you enjoyed this conversation, please tap the share button and send it out to your friends and family. We would also love if you leave a review in the Apple Podcast app. If you're interested in helping us grow this community, please go invite your friends to like us on our Facebook page. Search the Commonwealth on Facebook and tap the profile with the same logo as ours. When you go to the community section of our page, there is an option to invite friends. Please also tap subscribe to stay updated when new episodes drop.